All right. Hey, you guys, thanks for your patience. We just learned that Facebook doesn't let us invite friends on our lives anymore. So the next couple of days, I'll use a different platform, Be Live TV, to bring our guests on. But today I am recording with Natalie. Natalie, thanks for being here. And I'll upload this just after we finish. But thanks for being here and being willing to volunteer, Natalie. Just want to recognize and appreciate your willingness to be open like that.
Okay, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this week in general. I need to go back now and watch the start of your video from today. So
yeah, awesome. We talked a lot about, well, in general, we're talking about the simplifying our health, right? The simple, small things that we can do to really help bring in the big goals. Like we think we need to do one big thing or one magical thing to make things happen, but it's really those simple things over time that really add up. And I know I felt kind of confused or overwhelmed or sometimes even helpless about my health and wellness or what to do or which thing, and sometimes sorting it out can be a little much, or it's something I probably know, but I'm not necessarily doing, or I'm not necessarily feeling into it. I'm just like, know something up here, but there's a disconnect of actually using that information. So sometimes there's just simple clicks or simple ways to actually implement what we know.
right.
But what's going on for you? Let's dive right in.
Okay. Well, you kind of challenged us to think about some of the goals that we have for the year. And the first one that came across my mind is January is the month that I want to kind of set up routines. And for me, I want to be more proactively with responding to the day, less reactively. So reactively, is that a word? I don't know. Less reactive. Yeah, there we go. I was just rolling with it. So for me, that means I want to get up like 4:30 is just a time that I keep being guided to get up that early so that I can have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours before my daughter gets up in time where I can just focus on me, exercise, meditate, journaling, all the things, do a little bit of reading. But for some reason, I don't know if it's the weather, because I struggle with not seeing enough sun in the winter. I miss the sun, I don't know if it's that or whatever, but I have just been feeling so tired. Like, even if I go to bed at say 10 to try to get up early, I'm not making out of the bed. So I feel like it might have something to do with my sleep routines. I will add that my daughter does end up in our bed every night, which also probably doesn't help. But I feel like I don't want to make excuses. I want to keep pushing forward till I find this routine. But I feel like the night's sleep is not restful enough right now, which might cause a problem.
Okay, before you implement, thanks for sharing that. So what I'm hearing is you'd like to get up at 4:30 to have some Natalie time before the rest of your day.
Yep.
And that's awesome. That's like self-care that you want to put in place. Before you made this intention or goal, what time were you getting up?
Sometimes 6 o'clock, sometimes 7. Today I was awake. I had an alarm on before that, but I didn't get up till 8. I just felt so drained though, and it might be due to some other stuff going on as well. But
sure. And how was your sleep in general? Like, regardless of how much you're getting or when you're getting up or going to bed, how's your sleep? Do you wake up in the middle of the night or?
Not really wake up in the middle of the night. I struggle to get to sleep. And I think some of that is hormonal cycling as well. I can tell that I have different sleep at different. I've started to pay attention more to it, and I can tell at different parts of my cycle. I almost get, not necessarily insomnia, but just like really struggle to get to sleep. I also noticed that, how we kind of have natural rhythms. I think I've read on this too. How do I say this? Like natural rhythms to getting to sleep. So if you don't kind of get in that window, then you almost become more wide awake. So I've started to notice that is a thing for me. If I stay up too late, I almost miss a window. Yeah, I think I answered your question. Oh no, I started rambling. So
yeah, no. What time have you been going to bed?
Well, last night it was 11. I shoot for between 9:30 and 10. I feel really sleepy though when I put my daughter to sleep. Usually we start the bedtime routine between 7 and 7:30. Sometimes I'll fall asleep getting her into bed.
Mm-hmm.
But then that feels like too early for me to go to bed though at the same time, you know. So 9:30 to 10 is where I shoot for. I got off track with the holidays though.
Okay. So what if you did go to bed when you felt sleepy?
So I probably would just fall right asleep, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of times it's when I'm kind of reading a book to my daughter, I can just feel like, now I also have essential oils diffusing, which is probably for her, not me. It's making me sleepy as well, but I could probably get a really good sleep if I just allow myself to fall asleep right there.
Yeah.
While we're doing like our mindful nighttime routine, I guess, and stuff.
Right. Yeah, just pointing out that if you go to bed at 10, that's, or 10:30 or whatever, that's 6.5 hours of sleep. Whereas if you go to bed at, if you're committed and want to get up at 4:30 and do it that way, if you go to bed at 7:30, that's 9 hours. If you go to bed at 8:30, that's 8 hours, right? So that's more around what I would think that you need, to function really well. So,
okay. So I'm trying to cut it too short.
I would say so, yeah, especially for those of you that don't know, Natalie's an entrepreneur. She's she's got a full-time job and an entrepreneur, so she's a mom, so you've got a lot going on. I would say you need your rest every night and to shoot for that 8 hours. So if you wanted to, if you want to sleep later, you could go to bed later and do your stuff in the evening. But if you are committed to wanting to do that in the morning, but when everyone's still asleep, I would say to move the bedtime up, and give yourself that time where when you do wake up at 4:30, it's like, I am like, oh, I feel rested. I am ready to go. I am so excited to spend time with myself. So that just becomes your new normal. And after a while of that, 4:30 will be your new wake up time. You won't need an alarm. You know what I mean? Like, it'll just kind of become your new normal. So what are like some ways you can start getting yourself in the habit of going to bed earlier?
I think kind of having the beds area cleared off ahead of time. Let's see. I don't think anything needs to change in my daughter's routine because she pretty much is in bed by 7:30. So basically just prepping things maybe in the evening so that when I'm ready for bed, I don't have to like clean off the bed or put up the laundry, that type stuff. Yeah, I used to do a lot of my work at night, which is funny that you mentioned that. I used to feel like more of a night owl, but lately, in the last year or so, I just feel more drained in the evening. So it is kind of that me knowing I need to push to doing more in the morning, but not. And then I was thinking, I don't know why 4:30 keeps popping up in my head. For some reason 4:30 does. I think it's because if I do it any later, my daughter, she can get up anytime between 6 and 7.
Right.
She would interrupt. I wouldn't have enough time, even with doing it at 5:30, really.
Yeah, you want a chunk of time to spend with yourself, which is great. And if maybe you keep hearing 4:30, because that would be optimal for you, and it's just a season of this, like maybe you won't do this for a long time, but maybe a few months or a year, like whatever, maybe that's a season that it'll be really great for you to do it this way. And you can always try, like I said in the live, kind of try this on, see how it works for you and your body and your life, you as a mother and you as an employee. And then, you can always reevaluate. But I think that going to bed earlier will really help. And I just want to point out that's a couple things you keep saying is push forward or push. I want to push to do this. And so I wonder if if you just allow it to happen, if you kind of can kind of turn over like a reframe in your mind about, do I need to push to make this happen? Or can I just let my body fall asleep when it's tired and wake up when it's rested?
Okay.
Sort of a little bit of more receptive mentality, because those that are watching, I know Natalie. I've spoken with her a couple of times, and I know she's a really doing-oriented person, a really achievement-oriented person, and I have definitely identified as that type of person in the past. And sometimes, like, for me, it's been hard to turn my brain off at night, like, even if my body's tired. So, like, even just like brain dump of to-do lists, writing a list somewhere, chamomile tea or some nice herbal caffeine-free tea that kind of helps settle me, or like spraying some lavender, just those kind of things that help signal to your brain and body that, oh, it's time to, getting off of the screens an hour before you go to bed, that sort of thing. And just like kind of really showing up for yourself in that way, and reframing the idea that rest, sleep is productive, right? Like, resting and sleeping and giving our body that time is really productive. It is, it's not us being lazy. It's exactly what we need to be on, in the daylight hours and the working hours. So just kind of receiving that idea and allowing ourselves that time to really show up powerfully for ourselves, to have the rest and have the sleep, is important as well.
Okay, that sounds good. And I think you hit on something that I need an evening routine. I think you hit on or like you're kind of thinking about it a couple of times, and I've thought about it a couple of times. I was like, I'm so focused on that morning routine, for productivity and getting everything in, that it's a good point. I kind of need rituals for the
just some ritual. It doesn't have to be big and complicated or like a long list, but like maybe just a tea or in a journal time or whatever, gratitude list or something. Just 10 minutes of meditation, listening to music, whatever settles you. I think that going to bed a little earlier, and that evening routine as well as the morning routine, like the morning will just take care of itself.
Okay.
Yeah. How does that feel, or sit? Does that feel good? Does that feel doable? Does that feel simple?
It does. Yeah, it does. A lot of times in the evening, I have kind of like my husband, I hang out a bit, but he also is trying to get up earlier too. So we'll have to figure out when we have kind of like our time, I guess.
Your time. It does feel like you could have an hour in between your daughter going to bed and you going to bed if you're not too tired, but
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anything? Does that feel good?
Feels good. Yeah.
Coming up, any questions or concerns?
Not that I can think of. I like that you pulled out the whole push, which, when you feel that, it feels forceful when I say pushing for it. And it is that I'm kind of like, okay, you've got to do this. It's January. Let's get on the road. So yeah, I'm going to consider that more when I think about things, not so much pushing.
Yeah. Well, there is an element of needing to, like, activate yourself, like be in that, like, doing mode. But sometimes when I'm doing the same thing, actually reorienting myself to getting up with the sun and going to, now that I'm back in Florida, going to the beach for sunrise. So I'm doing the same thing of training myself to go to bed a little earlier for me. And I find that if I'm like not quite sure, like I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll go, run to the beach a little later today. I don't need to be there right when the sun gets up. So I do this thing where I count down from 5, and for some reason that really works for me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I get up. I think I saw this somewhere, read it somewhere. I don't know, but I get up. It's like mad. I think they use it in schools. They use it all over the place, but it's like magic. It helps me get up and okay, go to the bathroom, get my water, start getting ready.
Right.
Yeah. So there's another little tidbit. So. Yeah.
Should use it on myself too.
There you go. We're all children anyway. Right. Well, thank you so much, Natalie, for being willing to come on here and keep us updated on how it goes.
Okay, will do. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We'll see everybody tomorrow.